Hi everyone and welcome back to my garage. I am the motorcycle rescuer and this is of course Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, welcome back. Lots of my videos have been getting strikes online because one of the GoPro apps that I used in the past offers free music that's copyright free. It looks like someone's copyrighted it now 2 and 3 years later, and now for some reason I'm getting all these strikes. Someone else talked about a strike, I think it was Cole, Bertie Bodgett or Motorcycle Junkie, talked about one recently as well. It's a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. It's nothing anyone can do or change, by the way. It's just the way the system is, really. Where am I today? I've got a few packages here. I've got this, which was a right pain to get hold of, but it is a... Let me get it out of the pack for you without dropping you, because that would hurt you as individuals, of course. New backrest there, sits absolutely perfectly. I have to work out how I mount it. There's a solid plate there, maybe screws through here, maybe glue and screw, and then back onto its normal plate. That's probably its best thing, and then it goes on like that, of course, and makes it a complete bike again. Let me just check. Just check roughly that it will work. Otherwise, I guess, I mean, if it's up high enough. That's a bit big, actually. Comfortable, though. I am going to use it. See how I contemplated there. Last week, just before I left, I put some silicone over these holes just because I wanted to make sure they were watertight. So, put some silicone down the gap so that sticks out a bit. I'm still in two minds as to what to do with the covers. I can't find an alternative pull over and staple on cover at this stage, and I've checked lots of different companies, so I'm a bit stuck there. The other thing I've got down here is the brake light switch. Last week I briefly touched on trying to find it in the garage, but it was actually at home. Look at that, such a simple device, and can fail your MOT because of course the brake light doesn't come on. And of course we've got a brand new Piaggio air filter from Piaggio themselves. No reason why I didn't go aftermarket, really. It's just these particular engines, they're so finely tuned. I mean, hopefully you'll see today that this thing fires up and it sits beautifully and runs and rides and idles beautifully, just through having the right air filter, the air fuel ratio there. Last week it was a bit nerve-wracking when it fired briefly and then it stopped, but of course we found so much oil in that airbox. That's all cleaned out now. I think the first thing I want to do today is put that airbox on this bike and run it. I want to fire it up. I want to run it. I want to check the oil level now because it's new oil. Just make sure I got the right level last week. You should always check oil after a bike's been sitting for a while to let it all drip back down. It really doesn't take that long, 15-20 minutes if the bike's been run, because it's warm anyway. So let's do an oil dip, just check it's in the right vicinity at this stage. Okay, so I'm going to top it up. I want it to be more towards the top. It was quite hard to get oil down into this because of the angle, so I am going to top that up now before I do anything. And then airbox, air filter in, airbox on, fire it up, see that it revs and stuff, and if it does, then we'll go from there as to what's next with that one. So brake light switch today on this, air filter on that. If that runs and rides and seems okay, back together. I need to piece it all back together, check everything as I go along, lights and everything else, in aim to have it ready for an MOT next Saturday, if of course the owners want that. I'm not sure they want that yet. I do want this to have an MOT. Okay, so we've got fresh oil in there. topped up, batteries on, air filter and air box is in. Technically it should fire up, and after a minute or so of warming up it should rev a touch, so it, in theory, it should just be normal. That is exactly how they should start when they're running well, guys. No revs or anything like that. You just press the button. It should kick over quite quickly. Sounds great at the moment. I'm just going to make sure it revs up in a minute, because that's where it lost us last time, didn't it? It sounds great. The electrics are all over the place on this. The burning on the exhaust, we tried to take the sensor out when we were switching it across, but we couldn't, so we just brought it across with it. What you're seeing there is WD-40 burning off at this stage. The bit of smoke you're seeing is cold smoke. I think what we saw on this last week was it just being cold, but of course we'll let it all burn off and we'll keep an eye on it. Rear light is brake lighting, but it's not got its running light on right now. Now the bulb could be bad, or there could be an electrical issue. The actual front light is also not on. Now this running light here, I think is because of this sensor. Now we had a wiring loom. The wiring loom for this bike has connectors for that sensor, but it was ripped off. So it's been ripped off, the wiring loom on here. So it's not about the new engine, it's about the loom from this bike. And it was unsavable, I believe, when I saw it. Let me double check that. Let me find it. Here it is. So look at these. So I don't remember having the sensor. Hang on a minute. Right, that is the sensor. So this was my concern. I haven't got enough wire to rehook it up. But saying that, I might be able to save that. If there's enough under here, I'm gonna have to cut this off. If there's enough wire, then I can save that. That should take the light off. These lights aren't an MOT failure for motorbikes. They're not an MOT failure for motorbikes, but of course we'd prefer it to be running exactly as it should. So sounds great, the engine. I am just warming up. I want the oil to circulate and I want everything to loosen up. That's why it's running for 3, 4, 5 minutes now, and then I'll shut it off and I'll look at I think the wiring before piecing it back together. Although I do want to get the panels on because they are a bit of a faff. No point putting the rear one on until that light's doing something. So I've done what could be a fix there. While doing this fix, I really give myself a hard time. I'm thinking about the fact that I just don't have the tools to do wiring properly. I do need to get some sort of gas soldering stuff, because sometimes I'm still using the old twist and tape, and I stand by it. I think it works, but a little bit of shrink wrap and a little bit of solder really wouldn't hurt. I don't know if that's the fix. I wonder if the light will go off. I don't know if it's that simple. You might have to reset. Ooh. Nah. These bikes are they're electrical now. You have to reset things, but you never know. After a good run, or if I reset the maybe I'll take the battery off for. I think it's running cleaner. I think that sensor is the air fuel ratio sensor. Look, I think it's fine. Wow. I think sorted. That's good. I want to just check this rear bulb before I mess around. So we've got the brake light. We currently don't have the running light. So I might have some spares. I'm going to chuck them in. You know what, right? I'm really pleased with that. See, my emotion there went high, low and high again really quickly. I'm really pleased with that because it was unsavable. I had to really cut down and get a new wire in and through and connected. You know, brilliant. So I just tried a new bulb and something interesting happened on fire up. It did something and then it died and then nothing was working. So I've just got a theory that's just come to me quite late. Let me just see if it happens again. Watch. Let me see if it does something on startup. No, it didn't that time. Something's just come to me that I remember seeing last time. There's 2 fuses missing. Front light's not on either. There's a big chance that them fuses are lights. Let me chuck a fuse in. I'm going to put the original bulb back in. I'm not sure this is the exact one. Just going to put 2 fuses in, put this original bulb back in. Let's see what we've got. So for full transparency, 2 fuses in there. Let's see if that comes back. Part of me is thinking that the brake light wouldn't work, but it's possibly on a separate circuit. Let's see if this is back. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to switch the 2 fuses around that I just put in. They look fine now. They look fine. Ooh, are we back? We're back. We're back. So is the front gone now? Alright, so one of them fuses is a dud. How weird is that? It's on a completely separate circuit. Alright, so one of them fuses is a dud. Let me get a fresh fuse. That was a fresh fuse and it doesn't look blown, but something's not right there. One moment. Let's see, we should have it kind of all back really. That's good. Front should be back on as well. Yep, good, high and low. Okay, good. Front indicators are there, look. And horn was a bit iffy earlier. It's kind of the button. Sometimes these buttons get a bit gummed up. If I'm going in there at any point, I'll clean up the connector on there because it does feel like the connector. If you touch the horn gently, it's fine. If you push it, it's not fine. Okay, I'm happy. I'm going to test the rear indicators loose before putting on the rear end. I want this belly pan back on. That's kind of the heart and soul of that section there. And I'm just going to check again every single engine bolt I touched. One more time, just in case. Best to check it for 3rd or 4th time. So every bolt is rock solid. And one of the ways of testing engine mounts on these bikes, and it goes all the way back to your Galera runner days. It's the same engine, same chassis, same mounts. Look, take it off the stand, tilt the bike sideways and give it a wobble. The engine should not be wobbling side to side. So everything on this is good. tucked and safe. That's also an MOT test to make sure your engine mounts aren't finished. So at the moment we've got a good engine here, and everything around it seems okay now that we're messing with the electrics. I'm quite happy at this stage. I'm gonna hammer away. Ideally I'd have this bike pieced back together today, you know, so that you can just press the button and go and test it and run it. I'm so fussy. I'm just double checking and triple checking everything now. Have I nipped up certain things? So I'm at that stage where I know I've done everything 4, 5, 6 times, but for my own peace of mind, I'm rechecking, because that you don't want that one thing to come out and ruin the whole project. All of that's good and done and nipped. All of this is safe and good and nipped. We're good.